to come to the workshop, but everybody got to come for like $300, I think it was, Renee, $297 or something like that. And so that was a big value add, pay it forward to everybody that's within Berkshire. So when Adam and I discussed what we wanted to do the roundtables on, we just kind of started talking about like focusing on what the core pieces are to building and scaling our businesses. And of course, he and I have done it in very different ways, and we've both been really successful. But I don't want this to be us teaching you as much as I want it just to be a conversation. So I would submit, we can do whatever you guys want, that we address as many topics as we want that are part of C.L.A.S.S. C.L.A.S.S stands for culture, leads, accountability, and systems and strategies. So there's essentially 4 topics: culture, leads, accountability, systems, and strategies. And I thought one of us would speak. I can start off like speaking to culture, and maybe 60 seconds or less, I'll get a timer out. I'll say what some of the things we've done to create a certain type of culture, and then we'll just go around the room and everyone says something that they've done or they'd like to do to create a certain type of culture. And then we'll do lead generation, our #1 lead gen. Everyone goes around and says their thing, and so on and so forth. What do you guys think? So then we're all sharing, we're all contributing a little bit, not just taking, and all of us have great information, I'm sure, to share. If someone says yours, you can just do it again. That's okay. Don't feel bad. That work? Everyone good?
Do it. Do it.
Cool. So if you open this up, it's got all the stuff that we normally would give anyone that attends, but if you flip in, I think 3 or 4 pages, you'll see culture is the first topic. So I'll start 60 seconds. This is hard for me. A big thing for me when it comes to culture, and we have a team of 50, lead by example is the first thing on the list. If you haven't delivered signs, it's hard for you to teach someone to deliver signs. If you haven't been in the trenches of making outbound expired calls, it's hard for you to teach somebody and hold them accountable to making outbound expired calls. So be willing to, get your hands dirty and do all the hard stuff before you choose to leverage that to somebody else. And make sure the people that you lead know that you've done the thing that they're now having to do. You don't have to still be in the trenches with them in every area, but just make sure that they know you've been there, and you'll be looked at a different way, I think, from a leadership standpoint. Jenna. Culture.
I learned so many things from Mr. Briley over here about kind of what you said, like lead by example, and to set the tone that you want everyone to follow. Whether that's, your presence on social media or whatever. I think having kind of uniformity or having that expectation.
Cool.
All right. Within my company, we have, we're very open, we're very honest and supportive with one another. I think looking to expand that outward and to come from with the abundance mentality that we've been hearing about, to take that out to the community is something we need to work on and improve on.
Okay.
Within our company, we work in a competitive business, but we really try to have the mindset that success breeds success, and so everybody, open door policy, everyone's there to help everyone, because everyone else's success helps you to be more successful.
I really like that.
And I think culture, like taking care of your people. I have one person, so it's not too hard, but every 3rd Wednesday.
Dad, jump in here. Let's try to be a circle. Circles have power. Come on and get in here, Renee. Find a spot. Well, we have a whole gap here. There's some spots here.
Yes, take the gap.
Fill the gaps.
Fill the
Grab a chair.
Grab a chair here and here. Here and here.
Hi, how are you? Good. Adam Briley.
Here you go. Oh, you already have yours. Have a seat. Have a seat.
You can use that too. No, I think right there's fine. Yeah.
Does anyone else need a water or anything?
Anybody need water?
Or soda? I offered beer.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, come over here. Come here. There's a big space right here. No, just bring the chair.
For sure.
It goes up really high.
It does.
Yeah.
Here's the one. Some hinges.
I'll do it for you. All right, so for those that just arrived, we're talking about culture, and each person's sharing for 60 seconds things that they've done to help improve their culture on their team, or what they'd like to do if they had a team. Well, maybe it doesn't go up. Maybe this is one of the low ones. Are you good? I'll sit down here if you want me to. Do you want to sit down here? Okay.
I'll just be the shortest one.
Okay. You're good.
Okay.
All right, where are we at?
Yeah, so I just have a team outing with her the same third Wednesday of every month. We have a glass of wine, we go over what she wants to work on, what I can do better, so we have a full, clear communication to do that every single month together.
Cool.
So I'm still trying to figure this out, which is why I'm here, actually. But I went from being top producer in my community code house 10 years to managing broker in my office, and we have a team of 12 agents. So I'm still trying to figure out what the right thing to do is, to be honest with you. I think if you make them all feel like they're part of the team and you're not talking at them, like you own them, then that helps most definitely, because that's really the culture that I come from. So that's where I'm at.
Cool.
I've been in the industry for about 5 years. When I first started my brokerage, we're a young company in Boston, and it was like frowned upon when they saw me doing really well my first year. And so I was like a social worker. It surprised me, kind of that very judgment mentality in the brokerage. So now when new agents come, I make it a point to always, see if they need help with anything, sit down with them, and really just kind of foster them and let them know it's okay to fail and ask questions and all of that stuff. So just really being in the trenches with them is important, I feel.
Cool.
So let's see, I have a team of 4, and I think our challenge and benefit is that we were all friends first. So I kind of wanted a place for everybody to lay in. Everybody's like, oh, I'm in business with you, I want to do this. So I wanted to make a safe place for them to lay in, yet they're still friends. So the accountability is where we really struggle, because we still are, hanging out on the weekends together, but yet we got to work. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I have been struggling with. It's great because we all get along really well, but then we're always together.
Yeah, double-edged sword.
Yeah. So
Adam can speak to that too.
yeah, and that's, I've heard you speak before, and that's kind of what I wanted to build. Is I didn't want to just have random people on my team. I don't work that way. I interact better with people I know. So I built it on purpose that way, but yet I'm still trying to figure out how to make it grow stronger.
Cool.
Yeah, for us, we're trying to create something similar to this, where it's a family environment. So we'll have whenever I'm onboarding a new agent or interviewing a new agent, we'll have a conversation about what our expectations are. Then it comes down to the people we want to work with. So we have a no assholes rule, and I'll have that conversation with them in the interview process, saying that we're drawing a 3 here, and we won't put up with BS. That's what we're trying to incorporate, and then I'll tell them I wouldn't have anybody work with their form that would go hang out with on vacation or take on vacation.
I like that rule. I've heard that before.
Yeah. So we do that. We do company-wide trips or team-wide trips. That's important to us.
Cool.
I am brand new to a team. I just started my team this year. I've been really doing it for 5 years, but one thing that was always important to me is just to kind of motivate them to focus on the team. Like, we don't really focus. We have our individual goals put to go to that, but we have our team goals. So on like the back of our office door, we literally have a huge chart with the thermometer will go up. So it's our goals starts at 2.5 million, goes up to 30. We're not going to hit that, but like at 30, we all go to Mexico. We went downtown to Crown Candy. It goes to winery day and takes our kids camping for the weekend, so I'll take them on all those. So it just kind of gets us to focus, and everything we do is something we do together.
Cool. You want to come get in the circle? There's room somewhere. We might have to move out. Yeah, there's some back in here. If you want to grab one of those and roll it up. Is there a room for him right there, you think? Cool.
He and I work together, and he does everything that we three are trying to do. I think it is big. It makes it, you really drop a free in a business that is so competitive, and sometimes get catty. Or it's just it's a no asshole rule. I mean, it is a competitive business, but it is all about the direction of the team.
So I am a part of a small team, and I think, when I think of culture, I think, what is the end goal? I think we all need to have our focus is what is the end goal. We need to talk about what our expectations are, how we're going to get there, but bottom line is, what is the end goal? How we're going to get, whether it's contact resource management, closing a file, prospecting. I think we all should have the same end goal in mind.
We've been trying to get agents to collaborate a lot more. So every week we come out with what we have coming on the market, what they're looking for. We've sold a lot of our own listings this year. We also started 2 mastermind groups after coming here last year, and it's all about sharing ideas.
I'm a team leader, so I don't have a sales business, but I lead an office, and I think what I'm trying to do in the culture of my space is to be a better listener, because I think when you bring a lot of experience to the table, you want to solve a problem very quickly, and you're just rapid fire all the time. So I'm actually just trying to create a better culture by being a better listener, and that way, hopefully, I'm addressing the needs of my agents better. So,
A great book about listening, how to win friends and influence people. You haven't read that.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm a team of 6, and we focus a lot on camaraderie. We're all in the game for a reason, and you talked about results and getting the end game. The camaraderie and adding fun as an element to our business every day helps us to get through some of those stressful times.
So real quick, what's the fun stuff you do?
So on a quarterly basis, we take the team out on whatever the team selects. They put all their ideas and events that they want to accomplish in a hat, and then they draw, and then we pick that for the quarterly event. Just last month, we took everyone on the Napa wine train. And
cool.
so it was a great investment. But it was a lot of fun, and they were able to build team camaraderie at the wineries.
That's neat. How much was it per person?
It was about $550, and when all of us said,
$500.
yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
I feel like mine is lead by example, just because I'm in the trenches selling and I enjoy it. But for me, probably the biggest thing that I feel like helps our culture is always making sure you have the right people on the bus. Like you guys said, you're going to spend a lot of time with these guys. You become a family. I'm very selective on who I bring in, so I don't recruit, but when they do come on, it's very, I got to make sure they fit in with my culture and how they're going to mesh with other people, and I've made mistakes. I made mistakes on hiring the wrong people, so I feel like the biggest advice that I heard was from Austin, who owned Dot Loop. He told me, you got to be quick to fire. I mean, that was his biggest advice, is quick to fire. And I had to fire my best buddy. He was my first hire, but I had to fire him, so that sucks. But I do feel that was probably the biggest thing, is being able to fire people if you need to. But I've also lost good people too, but that's going to happen. So,
Well, Mark, you want to get in on this circle? There's room for you, brother. We'll spread out. All right, just grab up one of these rolling chairs, and you'll be a little shorter than all of us.
Not all of us.
You didn't like me sitting in the back?
I don't know. I just felt bad for you. We're talking about culture, and you're in the corner.
Just give them, you can be in the mushroom right there.
There you go.
Well, I'm an individual agent, so I have assistants, and what's really fun is it's the same assistants I've had for years and years. One of them was a friend. I didn't know her that well, but our kids went to school together. And so there's always that camaraderie. How's the family? What's going on? Oh, your mom's sick. You need to fly to Georgia. You know, that kind of thing. Always really caring about where they're coming from and how they're feeling. But I also bonus them with every close, so it's a celebration for all of us because we get our great commission. It's nice for them to have that too. So I would say the key thing that I learned about hiring is that don't hire someone, maybe a buyer's agent would be a little different, but for your assistant, don't hire someone just like you. Because you're the negotiator, you're the salesperson, you're the one that's on the front line, and they're supposed to be behind the scenes picking up all the loose ends. And so that has to be a real detailed person that loves paperwork and loves transactions and loves interacting with, send this over, we need this, you know, put in a file and send over immediately type personality. And I used to always want someone that was really dressed up in high heels and that kind of thing, and not at all anymore. If they're smart and they just dress nice, they're in. I'm not worried about the shoes in the office either. I'm down at Laguna Beach, and I noticed one was wearing flip-flops, and first time I've seen those. But, she's so good that I'm fine with it. She's comfortable, and that's how I want my clients to feel too.
Awesome. Mark, culture. What's one ad, 60 seconds or less, that's helped your team's culture?
Well, attitude's everything. With right attitude, you can treat anyone to do it. I used a service called Wise Hire, W-I-Z-E Hire, and I don't know what they do, but they're professionals at that.
Disc profile.
Yeah.
I use that too, first of all.
Yeah, you get a disc profile and a motivators assessment for basically the Tony Robbins setup, which is free on Tony Robbins' website. But then, I got an inbox flooded with like 200 applications. I don't know where these people are coming from, but that's why people hire us as real estate professionals. We get the job done. And so I hired Wise Hire, and they got me like a gajillion people to interview, and I was like, holy crap.
Who here at a show of hands has used the disc test before? Or has taken the disc test? So most of you are familiar with it. Yeah. Tony Robbins loves it. Just Google disc test Tony Robbins. It's really fascinating. You talk about hiring your opposite. Independent of what your personality type is, they've kind of found some trends with admin positions, sales agents, and CEOs, team leaders. So typically your team leader is going to be a high D. There's going to be D component and maybe DI or DC on the test. Your best sales agents are ISs and your best admin are SCs. So when we hire, we're always very cognizant about what their personality test results are. It's a good mention, Mark. We disc everyone. It's a simple test. It's not perfect, but it gets you closer.
And I guess one ad I would do is I spent a little bit of time, I watched some YouTube videos on how to hire, and I asked all these specific questions where it had absolutely no relevance what their answer was. I was just looking for how they answered. Whether they approached the answer from a positive perspective, from a negative perspective, and just gave me a glimpse at their attitude. So, I had several people on paper that were amazing, and I'd ask them some questions, and I'm like, oh God, they're negative. Holy crap, I can't have that in my water hole. So, people with the right attitude, people that are positive, that got a good disc assessment, money. Yeah, right people on the bus.
Yep.
Right?
Next.
I would say probably culture. We do team events. We do the team building is huge for us. We just did a putt-putt where I have some husband. Most people on my team are married, so husbands and wives. We competed against each other. It was the realtors against the spouses, and it was a fun time. And people drank a little bit too much, but it was good. So we are very much family oriented, and we disc profile everyone to make sure that they're a good fit. Slow to hire, quick to fire. I'm a firm believer of that, and it works well.
Cool. So I'm on a team. I've been in the business 10 years. On team 9. We were the first team to start in our little office. He had too much business. I didn't have enough, and we've had as many as 5 people. We're down to like 2.5, 3 right now. We have someone who's just sort of floundering, and we're still trying to figure out if there's any help we can lend. But our culture is we work like crazy grinders, but we have more fun than should be allowed. I was just mentioning, I had my biggest sale of my whole career this summer. And thank you, and I got to sell both sides.
You had to tell us.
That helped.
Just amazing.
Just had to tell you. Well, it was only 637.5, which is like chump change to most of these markets, but that's a big deal in our market. And so this whole, we just love each other. So there's no, we don't have like a sign over the door that says anything because we're just too busy flying in and out of it. But I knew neither of these two on the team had been to this one restaurant in town in Indianapolis, which is famous, St. Elmo's. And so I said, all right, I'm taking you guys. And they're like, no. I'm like, no, I am taking you guys. And we are going and we're eating. We're having appetizers, we're eating, we're drinking, and everybody had too much to drink, ate way too much, had the best time.
That's awesome.
And so, that's our culture.
Sure.
We try to thank each other however we need to do that.
Cool.
Help each other.
Any other thoughts on culture? I know in the beginning everyone's kind of nervous. Did anything else come to you guys as you listen to everyone else's answers? I would say the accumulation of what everyone said was lead by example, have some type of an event where you get drunk.
That breeds the culture.
I mean, really, disc assessing, making sure you're bringing on the right people, hire slow, fire fast. Vince is all about culture, right? He just took a position, executive level position, to help other brokers with the culture of their offices. I think the biggest challenge is when you first start launching your team, you don't know what you want to be. Maybe you don't even know what you are or what your culture is, and I think that's okay. But I think the number one trait is being willing to be self-aware, to know what you are, what your team's leaning towards, and if you don't like the direction you're going in, there's probably people within the organization you need to eliminate so that you don't continue trending that way. Birds of a feather flock together. So if your team's full of mean girls, you're going to attract mean girls, right? If your team's full of assholes, you're going to attract assholes. If your team's full of hardworking people, you'll attract hardworking people. So we can all build whatever we want to build, but we have to be aware of what we're building. Any other thoughts on culture? Deb.
I'm just going to take it from the other side of things. You notice I have had a team that you have asked me last year, did I have good culture? I think everybody would say, oh yeah, they're amazing. Because my 3 top people have been with me for over 20 years. When we went to Mexico, we went to the Cayman Islands, we went to Chicago, we'd hire a limo to take us out. We did all of those things. But the bottom line was, after 20 years, 20 plus, 3 of them decided that it was time for them to leave. And that was hard for me to think, how could you leave your family? But it was important for them. And in the middle of the meeting, I was telling Adam about this, I went from upset to a sense of relief. After that long, sometimes we get so ingrained in what we're doing that we don't realize what has happened to us. And for me, I would come back from an event and they were so good at what they did, but they'd always go, why do you want to try that? Why do you want to change? Why? No, let's just keep it the way it is. And I was okay. I was saddened by that temporarily, but I was okay with that. But I realized when they left that it was tremendous, because this is my chance. I still have half my team, but this is my chance to create a dream team. And instead of being upset, I'm excited. I went down to the remaining part of my team during halftime at during one of the breaks, and one of my gals said to me, I can't tell you how exciting this is for all of us now. We come into work every morning and we can't wait to see what's on the horizon for us. We're so excited. So that culture of kind of, staying the way we were was affecting everybody, but we didn't know it was affecting us. Adam, I've always admired, because Adam will fire fast. I couldn't fire someone if my life depended on it. So really thank the Lord that they took it in their hands, and now we have the chance to do something that's right. So again, we talk, don't be disappointed if something changes in your office, in your group, in your environment. Almost always, it's a change for the best.
Yeah, be prepared for change, right? Any other thoughts? Thank you, Deb. Any other comments on culture before we move to the next topic? I think we should skip lead gen, because we had a whole panel breakout on lead gen. Unless someone's really passionate about speaking to that, I'd like us to jump into accountability. That'd be okay? So I'll kick it off, and then we'll come back this way, this time, to change it up and get crazy. Our team has always been strong believers in accountability. Since 2011, we launched the Boomtown CRM, and I went from generating 1 or 2 leads a month off my website to 300 a month off the website. So right out of the gate, I hired all the wrong people. None of them stayed more than 12 months. But we went from 70 to 240 sites in 12 months. The fastest growing Boomtown site in their existence so far, so from what they told us. And that was only with $1,000 a month spend. So we knew to be successful with internet leads and with the leads the agents added to the CRM, we needed to create some type of accountability component. Most agents don't want to be held accountable. Most of us didn't get into the business so that someone would check in on us every day to ask us if we did what we were supposed to do. And so we were really worried about having the right people that would be willing to plug into that. And even though those agents that chose to join us weren't the perfect fits, they were all willing to be held accountable. And that takes some humility, to have someone check in on you every week and ask you if you did what you were supposed to do. And so we Today, it's as simple as 20 minutes a week. Each of our agents has a sit down with our team success manager. I pay him $84,000 a year. He's also the business manager of my company. So I can be gone 5 weeks in South Africa, which I just was, and he ran the entire company while I was away. He pays bills and does everything. So he meets with every one of our agents every single week for 20 minutes and focuses on a few key performance indicators, KPIs, which are outbound calls, contacts, appointments realized, executed contracts, and total hours prospecting. And then he also focuses on making sure that they're living and leading the life of their dreams. So they might want to meditate more, go to church, read the Bible, whatever it is that they're wanting to focus on. The conversation isn't just about them performing a certain way to get a certain amount of sales. It's also, once they are getting those sales, even before they're doing the other things in their life to stay healthy. So the weekly accountability meetings have been huge for us from an accountability standpoint. And if you're an individual agent and you're speaking to accountability, I'd love us to share with each other what we're doing to hold ourselves accountable if we don't have an accountability partner holding us accountable. So this way.
Okay, so what are we doing to hold ourselves accountable? Is that our question?
If you're in a single agent, accountability. How are you holding your agents accountable? Okay. And or how are you holding yourself accountable? How are you holding your spouse accountable?
Well, I don't have one of those.
Oh, okay. Well, that's easy.
And it's not just me. So, I don't know. I don't know that we have an accountability thing as much as we have a making sure we did everything. Because we're not as organized as what you're talking about with lead gen and all that. We lived through having tons of leads to cover, literally had to hire more people to try to cover them. And then that slowed down. So I don't know that we really have an accountability.
You have weekly team meetings?
Not weekly, but we do have team meetings. I don't know, we're all just kind of pedaling as fast as we can, so we probably need something along this line, but I can't say we have something.
Do you guys have goals that you set? And I'm not just picking on you.
We have a number. No.
Probably
You can pick on me all you like.
So you guys,
We have
does
this
each
number
agent
that I want
define?
to hit. We just go up every year, and so we're satisfied with that. And if that were to go in the opposite direction, I mean, I came from advertising. I don't really believe in putting numbers on people's heads because I don't really think that does anything. But, we've never hit 20 million, and it's mostly just marketing out itself. So, that's what I want to do this year. We're on track to do 24 if we keep hustling as hard as we are right now. So that would be our goal. But I don't think we just follow after each other and like, did you do so-and-so? Did you make sure that, we just sort of do that. But I don't think that's
No structured accountability. And you guys have heard the sentence, inspect what you expect, and fail to plan to fail. So I'm with you. I don't think we should.
Systems, but we don't have an accountability system.
Okay.
Maybe that's the next one we need.
All right, maybe. Yeah, cool. How about you guys?
Weekly meetings with the team, and we talk about their goals and numbers, and because I'm held accountable weekly by my coach, so I basically, like Adam said earlier, lead by example. I do everything that I expect of my team. I'm making the calls every single day. I'm sending the emails, the text messages. I don't take internet leads, but we have a 6-touch requirement that they have in the first 24 hours on any new lead that comes to the follow-up boss. I can actually go in there and see that they've made those touches. If they're not making the touches, then the lead gets pulled to them and goes to the person that scrubs the leads for us. So they know that they have to make those touches. I sent, earlier this year, I sent them an email and said, this is what my week looks like, how I follow up with buyers and sellers, how I follow up with, whatever it is. My requirement of, we have low inventory in our area, so I'm personally door knocking 20 doors a week, and they are required to do that too. So it's just a checklist. And
where do you track everything?
Right now, it's just in Excel.
Okay. That's what we do too.
Yeah, it works.
Yep. Simple. Mark, accountability.
Something really cool like this. Do you have a patent on it? Because I think you copied it.
Oh, really? Are ours similar?
Totally messing.
Do you have that?
No.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm a lot probably like Adam. I have like bi-weekly check-ins. I only hold my agents accountable that need to be held accountable. Some of them don't need to be held accountable. They just have the right habits and do the right activities.
So challenging the mindset just for fun in this setting. What if they need to be held accountable in other areas of their life where they're not successful?
Good idea.
Well, I do dream boards with them, and we do track the goals,
Cool.
and it's not just work related.
Yeah. I think everyone wants a coaching meeting. It feels like, I can't believe as adults, how many of us sit down in front of someone that's checking in on us? My spouse and I don't even do it. And I've heard that's a practice of having like a healthy marriage. Like every week or every month you check in on each other. You know, some people might do it with their ecclesiastical leader. But for the most part, we never sit down in front of someone and they hold us accountable.
Yeah,
So
well, hey honey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think I'm doing?
Right?
This month.
Right?
Well, I think you're like a 4. You'd be like, holy crap! Just stop interrupting me when I'm trying to tell
Right?
a joke or something, you know? It's, oh, that's all I need to do to be a 10? Okay, all right.
There you go. All right, next.
Yeah, the accountability is really huge. And I think it does start with I have assistants, so it's a little bit different scenario, but it does start with you. And background school teaching, of course, I've got these big boards. This is absolutely phenomenal.
Thanks.
But so all the listings from 15 to 20 are all on the board. We know when they were listed, we know when they expire. We keep track of when they go into escrow or if one pops back. We also have another big board, and then it lists everything, like the day we listed it. It has the day that we are doing photography, the day that we're going to have it on previews, and the day it goes in the MLS. And then every step of the way, like when we're doing the inspections, when we're doing the disclosures, when we're doing the final walkthrough. So when we glance up at the board, seller calls in and says, when is our final walkthrough again? We just look behind us at this board, and it's 2 seconds. It's not techie, as cool as this. It's so neat. But it works, and then we just erase it when that one's off and pop the
Who else
next
does
one
that?
in.
Who has a board? So that works great when you're doing 50 deals a year or 100 deals a year. That's really hard with 800 deals a year. We did exactly that and started adding boards. We had like a whole office of boards.
Yeah.
Beautiful mind. We did the same thing with sales boards. Who has sales boards that are on like a whiteboard? We did that for years and then ran out of room and wanted to track more stuff. That's awesome though. That's good you have that.
Coaching, I just can't say enough good things about coaching. No matter what your volume is, you will double it.
Yeah. Cool. Nice job.
My wife's my biggest accountability partner. She's always telling me when I'm doing something wrong, and I mean that in all seriousness. And I mean with my team. I mean she's probably my biggest alarm, or she's the alarm, and I'm the fireman, right? That has to go, and I appreciate that. So I would say that number one. And then as far as the team goes, weekly meetings, one-on-one check-ins, and it's not structured. It's generally when someone is having an issue, whether it's personally or it's not, because I don't always track like what they're doing business-wise. It's always, are they doing the right actions? Like I have Amanda's on my team. She'll sometimes go through like 4 months without selling shit, and then all of a sudden she'll blow up, but she's always constantly doing the right actions. Just for some reason she goes through these slumps, but she's always an $8 to $10 million producer, which to me is great. But again, it's one-on-one, weekly meetings. So we'll talk about issues, maybe upcoming things that need to address. Then we read a book as a team always. So right now we're finishing up the one thing. Read 7 levels last time, and I would say that's probably the biggest thing for accountability. Cool.
We have a sales team meeting every Monday morning, and it goes from 9 to 9:30. And then on alternate Mondays, we have our team meetings where our staff comes in and holds us accountable to whatever operations or listings or marketing that we need to do for the upcoming week. We also have a coach as well. And then we have a trend sheet, not near as cool as this, but we track all the agents' calls, notes, pop buys, their client appreciation attendance, and then on a personal level, whatever it is that they would like to engage in on goals, whether or not they want to achieve some spiritual goals, personal goals, vacation goals, we hold them accountable to those in addition to their profession.
Cool.
When you say accountability, you have to think about tracking and measuring. So for me, I try to really key in on the big why, both personally and professionally, because they both work together for motivation and propelling people to do the things that they need to do when they don't want to. So I try to really know everyone's deal and how they approach things, and making sure that they know their numbers, and knowing your numbers is knowing your business. So people who I work with in my office, it's voluntary, people can or can't, but if they're going to work with me, they know they have to know their numbers, and that's the accountability.
We have a weekly sales meeting every Monday morning, similar to yours, 9:30 to 10:30. After, we have about half of our agents show up for that. We have 70 agents in our office. Normally we get about 35 people. After that, we have a coaching session for our newer agents. We haven't set yearly goals. They've done dream boards, but I think we could improve what we're doing with accountability.
Wow, nice.
For us, we have a small team, so for us, the proof is in the pudding. You know, if we're not, you know, getting results, obviously we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We have a ton of boards. We're always in constant communication with each other. Hey, I checked in with this lead. Don't worry, I got this under control. It's constant communication, lots of boards, door knocking as well, so yeah.
Nice.
I think going back to what she said, I mean, if you are going to talk about accountability, you have to talk about numbers. I mean, you wouldn't watch a football game if there was no scoreboard. I mean, everybody likes to keep score. And we have a weekly Monday meeting now from 9 to 10, and then after that, immediately after that, I meet with each agent one-on-one for a half hour, so kind of similar to what you're doing. And the first 5 or 10 minutes is all about the numbers for production, and then the rest, when they first come on, we always ask them, you know, what's your why? Like, why do you want to make a lot of money, you want freedom, you want this, you want that? And so first half of the meeting is, you know, your numbers, all your different KPIs, whatever it is, and then the last half is, you know, are you engaging in your consistent actions that are directly correlated with what you told me you wanted to do? Because you said that you wanted to make X amount, or you said that you wanted to take 5 vacations a year, or whatever it was, and that was your why. Are you working and doing everything every day that gets you to that point or not?
Cool.
Again, mine's a small team too. It's just me, one buyer's agent, and an admin. We actually started with 2, and she was not accountable, so it only lasted 3 months. So she is not with us, but we do the same. We have, you know, our Monday morning meetings. I would love to hear more, like, in detail about what you guys do at your weekly meetings, because that's something I think I kind of struggle with. But we all went to Ninja. I don't know if anybody here knows about the Ninja training, and that has been, I think, our biggest thing of keeping us accountable is just the tracker that's through there. And I was never one that tracked the numbers. My admin does it every day. She updates it, and it's a shared file. But it tracks our closed business, our under contract business, our current listings, and then our hot and our warm list. And we go through that entire spreadsheet every single week to go through and why aren't these, you know, warm ones moving up and kind of where we're at. That's been our biggest thing to kind of keep us all accountable, to make sure we're following up with every one of those people.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think, as Lott mentioned, everybody wants to watch a football game, everybody's keeping score. We used to have a production board that we would put out during the sales meeting, and we had a couple of agents that were a little offended by that, because their numbers weren't where they need to be. So, you know, going to the get-go board, everybody thinks that's cool. I think we're going to go back to implementing the scorecard so that everybody sees that this is a team sport. We want to see how each player is doing, how they're contributing to the team. And then, you know, so I think that the get-go board really, that accountability piece that, you know, just kind of snapshot of helps everybody's performing.
Cool.
Okay, so we have Monday morning meetings too, but excuse me, our little spin on us is we do our Monday morning meetings at our local coffee shop, and then we like publicize to our clients too, like, anybody want to come have a cup of coffee with us? We're having our Monday meetings. We have them every Monday. We've been doing it for like a year, and every once in a while we'll have people show up, like, hey, you know, they'll sit down, they'll work with us. I mean, you know, they're not necessarily coming to talk to us, but they'll sit in the same, you know, we get the same little conference room in the coffee shop, and everybody will come in and just sit and hang out with us for like an hour. It's great. And so it's been, even if nobody comes, everybody knows we do them, and they are always asking, like, hey, you're gonna have coffee this week? I'm like, yep. So those are our Monday, and we try to like figure out what everybody's week looks like. Like, tell me what your week looks like. What are you doing this week? But I had to hand over a lot of the accountability, because we are such close friends too, to our broker manager. So she keeps a little bit better track of their numbers, so that I don't have to be the one like, did you call 5 people? What'd you do today? Because as friends too, that was getting a little bit like, they didn't want me doing that for them. So like I said, our broker owner does that for them, which is easier for me too.
Cool. I'm an individual agent, started the process of growing a team this year, so I hired an admin, and I think that's what's keeping me accountable. One, I need to continue to feel comfortable paying the salary I do. At the same time, I want her to feel very valued and that she has enough work on her plate and is challenged and all of that, so we constantly check in about other ways I can challenge her. What did I do well? At the end of the week, we'll talk about what things I did well, things that she thinks she did well, and then things we can improve upon together. And I think that's really helped me want to be a more successful agent, just so she can see the opportunities within the team.
I'm kind of in the same boat, so I'm going to speak more as being a single agent individually, because that's what I've been up until about 2 weeks ago. So I've always set goals for myself, and I've had a coach over the years. And I check those goals quarterly just to make sure I'm where I'm at and exceeding those goals. And I plan to implement a lot of this for the team that we have now. So I think if you treat them like you treat your clients in a lot of ways, then you'd have a good team. So hopefully we can implement a lot. So just getting through the transition has been a huge challenge. So I kind of have a full plate.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, I'm an individual agent. I have one admin under me, but I do coaching. But one big thing that I do, I have a weekly tracker that I have on my desk, and it has to be completely filled out by Sunday, so I take it home with me. But so many face-to-face break breads with coffee or lunches or dinners. I have to make so many phone calls and talk tos, so many events a week, how many leads I got, and how many listing and buyers. So at a glance, I can see, was I doing money-making activities, or was I just doing minutia crap all day long? So it helps me keep accountable and look at a week at a glance.
I'm a CFO of a company. We've got 15 offices that range anywhere from 3 people up to 80 people. And honestly, what our managers, all of our managers, selling managers, and what they're doing in the individual offices varies tremendously. In the larger offices, accountability is fairly well focused on the new agents in the bottom quartile. The upper agents, if they're doing well, if they want help, if they want coaching, that's available, but most of them kind of want to be left alone to go run. Probably one of the biggest takeaways we have from this, and I participate in one with corporate as well, is the concept of the masterminds group. If there's something to kind of bring into our company that I think would benefit everybody, it's the masterminds groups.
Who all here is doing masterminds? That's a lot of us. I'm impressed. Yeah, we'll just finish off here and then be done, guys, because we're supposed to rapid fire. Now we go really fast.
Monday meetings, just like everyone else. I do, because I was with Mike Berry, I have to send in weekly little things, and they all sit on my desk, but the nice thing is I have them in books, so I can go back to last year, the year before, the year before, the year before, to see where we were this exact week each year, so you start seeing trends in your business. Whoa, it's going down, last year it didn't, and this is where we ended up. So for me, we're not competing against other people, but competing against ourselves, and that's been real good. Somebody said they're going back to this kind of board. I've always been one that says, okay, here's our goal and here's where everybody's at. But I realize some of those people that are at the bottom, I like the idea, well, too bad if you're offended by it. But I also think we need to be cognizant of that and say to the person maybe that's on the bottom, say, Pam, I know you're on the bottom this week, but I loved the way you handled X. So they don't feel just like, crud, I have no use at all. Now, if they stay there for a long time, then I'm going to hire Adam to come in and
Well, everyone on your team was scared to death after you fired your best friend.
No one's safe.
10 years ago. Does it with a smile on his face. Sorry.
So I do business planning with all my agents, and then new licensees, it's weekly. We do the 90 days of training, we condense it to 60. Corporate's now done that for us, which is nice, but we go through that. Then it's weekly accountability. Are you doing the things you need to? Anybody who's on internet leads, we have weekly check-ins with them to see, again, are they doing it? You're producing, you're on track for your goals. We'll do monthly or quarterly, and I leave that up to the agents as to what they what they feel they need. Last week, I sat down with a lot of those that were monthly or quarterly, said, here's what you need to do between now and the end of the year to hit your goal. Or, hey, you need one sale a month to hit your goal for the rest of the year. Why don't we bump that goal up and give you something to strive for? So.
Awesome. Jenna?
I actually ended up getting a coach this year, just to kind of help me stay accountable. But I have to track on a weekly basis different things that we decided upon that were helping my business. So like face-to-face, like you had said, and all of those things. I also found that time blocking my schedule ahead of time, if I have a time already set for, a lunch with a lender or something like that, if I don't have the information filled out that I'm meeting with somebody, it's like pressure for me to like set that appointment. So it's been good.
Awesome.
I'm just new to the whole process, and I'm with Renee,
Okay.
and we're going to implement, I'm sure, a lot of this, so it's interesting to hear.
Or you'll fire.
Yeah, or he'll fire me. If I see you show up in Columbus,
Well, you guys, this was great. Thank you. Thank you for coming. This was fun. Appreciate you all sharing.